Well, good evening, good night, welcome. I'm very pleased to chair this psychoanalysis and politics meeting, not least because our host, Lene Auestad, is actually going to be giving her paper. Well, I'm sure most of you, probably nearly all of you, know who Lene is, so I will only very briefly introduce her. She was a research fellow in philosophy at the University of Oslo, where she was affiliated to the Center for Studies of the Holocaust and Religious Minorities in Oslo. She gained her PhD about a dozen years ago, and she set up this extraordinary affiliation of colleagues called Psychoanalysis and Politics. Most of you, perhaps all of you, have been to some of them. Some of you have been to most of them. I think it's an extraordinary fellowship of discussion widely about psychoanalysis and politics from many, many angles. Well, during the lockdown, and because we haven't been able to meet, then I had this idea of having these online events. I think that they were to take the place for the time being of the conference, but actually I think that they're a thing in their own right, and as you've heard, the conference was postponed till next year. So hopefully these will carry on in the interim, but maybe they can both weave in and out with these smaller meetings, and then we can meet properly in June in Berlin. So Lene's giving us a paper called To Think or Not to Think, a phenomenological and psychoanalytic perspective on experience, thinking, and creativity. So Lene, over to you.
Thank you very much. And I thought it might have some new resonances actually in the light of the pandemic and the theme of spaces and the lack of spaces, what we could think about after that in discussion, perhaps. Thoughts are a nuisance, says Bion's patient in Learning from Experience. I don't want them. Thinking, writes Arendt in The Life of the Mind, is equally dangerous to all creeds. By itself does not bring forth any new creed. Both these writers present theories of what thinking is and about the risks associated with thinking. Why we would sometimes not want to think. The purpose of this paper is to question how learning, conceived not as mechanical reproduction, but as a process of creative engagement with the material, comes about, using Arendt's philosophical account of thinking with Bion's psychoanalytic account. They both illuminate how thinking is not a necessary component of human life, though it would be a poor one without it, how it has a potential to undermine the existing social and mental frameworks on which we rely for support, and how thinking, as an activity arising out of experience, depends on some social conditions for its existence. To explore this theme, I shall first present two pre-psychoanalytic tales which have been central to psychoanalytic thinking. Hoffman's story of the Sandman, as read by Arendt and Torok, and Sophocles' King Oedipus, primarily as seen by Bion. In these interpretations, both the play and the fairy tale are concerned with the theme of enquiry and its potential dangers.